This is one of those games that just jumps off the screen. Instantly, the minute I saw it, I had to bring it to you here. The magnificent cucumber himself, world number one, playing with the black pieces in this game, and he returns to Title Tuesday today, 4th of August. This is incredible. His opponent was Benjamin Bock, incredibly strong blitz player. They met in round 6 of Title Tuesday, online chess event. Wait till I bring you the results of the tournament. What's Magnus going for here? You're about to find out. He breaks just about every opening principle here at the elite level and then goes on to do his special stuff. The special Magnus sauce. E4's on the board, G6, and normally everyone in his chess dog goes knight to C3. But we get some bishop D3 action from Benjamin Bock. Magnus tucks that bishop into bed. Pawn h3 looks a bit slow, but it does stop bishop g4. Now Magnus goes for a6. Classic expansion move. Already he's getting the question mark. Tons of pawn moves. Still not getting his bits out. That's usually a boo-boo at the top level. This clamps on the pawn push and knight e7. Now when I see this move, I'm picturing pawn f5 on the way. Let's have a look at what happens. Magnus goes h6, logical, take control of g5 and i5, castle in just a minute, copy what white just did, and then thrust with the pawn, roar like a lion. It makes so much sense, but no. Magnus Carlsen plays the most Magnus way ever, a kind of Benoni meets Hippo. Pawn g5. Absolutely reckless positional move, but it's classic, exciting, make it weird Magnus. He's already about 1.4 of a pawn down when you run it with the bar. What comes next? Well, it just gets better. The knight sidelines, but it's headed for c4, classic maneuver, and now Magnus tucks in here, knight c4, and here we go. Andrea Botez, spin those beats. It's getting exciting. Pawn g4 on the board, completely uncompromising, going for the throat. We see takes, bishop takes, still no castles, bishop e2 backs up, stops the structure getting mangled here. And finally, move 14, Magnus picks up an opening principle and castles that king. I want to show you an epic maneuver in just a second, but first I must mention, if you want to learn chess the right way, from the foundation up, build the house with something solid, then check out Lotus Chess Foundations. Absolutely perfect for anyone who's looking to get into chess. I know a lot of you watching the channel are already pretty decent at chess, but you might know someone, a kid, a grandkid, a loved one. Do get them to try it out. My own son loves it. Even my wife's been dabbling. It really is very, very good. Nice way to get introduced to chess. Links in the description, or however you're watching this, get onto that link. Free to get started as well. It's incredible. Let's carry on here. What did white play? Well, not this, but I want to show you this move because it's highly instructive. This is the analysis zone. If black takes, very natural. Queen recaptures. Queen e7 is then a natural developing move because you want knight d7, but if you do it too soon, this pawn drops. But then there's this amazing knight b6, rook a7, and now rook a3, swinging into the attack. And after you develop something into the game, the big problem is that this one hops forward, already converging twice on the pawn, king h7, rook h3, or you could even take immediately. Your entire position is collapsing. There's nothing to be said, nothing to do, just a lost game. Really instructive kind of maneuver, starting with the knight h2 stuff. Wanted to show you that in case you find yourself in such a pawn structure, but not today. a5's on the board, also very logical. Magnus now pressures this central pawn here. We see queen c2 defending it, queen e7 intensifying the pressure, but not responded to. You could start with knight b6, but instead bishop e3. Now you do get to whisper, stack my bishop, lovely stuff, and you do offer a pawn, but Magnus is now coming back into the game. Don't capture this pawn, by the way. This isn't actually good. One option is simply takes. Then you can go knight b6. It's actually stronger than taking on d6. And the big point is that this one's really struggling to enter the game. Something like this, you hit a rook and you open up the bishop trade. You know, if takes, this line's really good for white. You can do these weird kind of spin round lines where you trap a rook. Just one sample. And if you're not trapping that rook, if white's not taking here, something like rook b4, then anyway, you get those bishops off the board. And once you've done that, the knight's never getting into the game. And then the rook's never getting into the game. So this is the kind of squeeze, the bind that white needs to be going for. It's the reason that black doesn't take here. The reason that Magnus understands he has to enter the knight into the game. But now Magnus is really fighting because you've got the bits out. You can start making it weird. And this move doesn't help things. It looks for pawn b4 here. But after Magnus rotates round, hits the centre, the entire position now unravels for white, lost in 14 moves. b4 should be played here. Carry on with that one. Rip apart the structure here. Look for some d6 stuff soon, even if the e4 pawn drops. But in the game, we get the poor move. Pawn e5. Looks really natural when that was about to collapse. After captures, now pawn d6 being the point that Bock is making, Magnus can find a home on e6 with the queen, and things are really difficult to play for white because there's a hidden sneaky threat that means you should move this rook. It's on the wrong diagonal, something like rook b to d1 or e1. But in the game, the really natural bishop takes on c5 was played, and as you can see, it gets the double question marks of doom. Magnus is now winning with bishop f5, and you're just simply skewering, winning an exchange. But more than that, all the pieces are now crumbling, can't hold on. If you try bishop d3, then you can either go e4 straight away or take, then e4. You're just losing a piece. So we saw queen b3. Magnus could take the rook on b1, but even stronger is the absolutely epic knight f4. Garry Kasparov is purring. What a stallion it is. The bishop's about to drop. Bock says, aha, I'll save the rook, defend the bishop. All is right in the world. But now Magnus brings the final piece to the party. And not only is he threatening to take a loose bishop, but if you back it up or forward, well then this is a problem. Because after takes with check, rook recaptures, this pony simply drops. Its defender was removed. This is a lost game. Minor piece ahead for black. So let's back up. What was tried in the game? Takes was tried in the game. Try and make it weird. But regardless of all that in the centre going on and the passed d-pawn, it's Magnus emerging here after takes with check, simply a full minor piece ahead. He's pulled out his Houdini magic once more from a much worse position, made it weird. His opponents can't do it in the deep dark forest. Rook fe1 was now played. Queen d5 steps out the way. Rook d2 hits that lady once more, and this is the moment. It's absolutely epic. There's some beautiful things in the world of chess, like international arbiter Chris Bird holding his umbrella in the playing hall, Genie ringing that bell, or a Wonder Liang chowing down on a crostini. But this is right up there with all of them. It's Magnus Carlsen sacrificing the lady. And what's it for? Well, for an epic mating attack or material winning attack. After the king steps to the corner there, Magnus calmly backs off with the bishop to e6. almost shades of Fischer's game of the century. Not quite the same, but some amazing bishops, rooks, knights converging, and this one's just dropping off the board. You know, say you defend in one way or another, there are many good moves. You can start checking and going for the king, but you can even just win a piece. Something like this, and when the smoke clears, this is an overwhelming material advantage. Completely game over. In the game, we saw queen takes on b7. Magnus checked. King g3. The knight now rode into the game. For king, about to win an exchange here. And after king f3, queen takes the best move, by the way. That's how bad the position is. Magnus does have mate in 5. We'd check king g4 and then some takes on f2 business and you hunt the king. But he doesn't play it. He simply snaps off a rook with check and it led to resignation. 2 minutes up on the clock, move 32. What an absolute whooping. Magnus does it again. If you capture, well then there's this, winning the queen, and there's other amazing moves as you can imagine. Completely game over, too much material down. And not just that, let's jump to the results here. Magnus Carlsen finishes joint top with Arjun, but just gets pipped on the tie break. Incredible tournament, great to see him back. So many mouth-watering fixtures today. I'll have to try and get to a few in the coming days, as well as the St. Louis chess. Thanks for all your support. Do go and check out Lotus Chess Foundations. It's incredible. And have a look at the video on screen if you want to see the original time I did this title. Magnus versus Jan. What a battle that was back in the day. Thanks a lot and see you soon. Cheers.